He is known across continents, his verses translated into countless tongues. Yet, Jalaluddin Rumi was far more than just a poet. He was a mystic, a profound philosopher, and a revolutionary voice that echoed through the very soul of Islam. His influence transcended the written word, shaping spiritual paths and cultural landscapes. 8 centuries have passed since his time, yet his words resonate with an astonishing, enduring power. They speak to the deepest longings of the human heart, bridging divides and illuminating inner truths. How did this one man, born into a world so different from our own, manage to influence the spiritual core of a global faith forever? How did his message of love and unity become an indelible part of Islam's legacy? Our journey begins in the year 1207, in the ancient city of Balkh, nestled in what is now Afghanistan. Here, Jalaluddin Rumi was born into a family of scholars and spiritual guides. His father, Baha'u'llah Walad, was a respected theologian and mystic, known as the Sultan of Scholars. This lineage steeped young Rumi in a world of profound learning and spiritual inquiry from his earliest days. However, the tranquility of Balkh was shattered by the looming threat of the Mongol invasions. This cataclysmic force swept across Asia, displacing populations and altering the course of history. Fleeing the advancing hordes, Rumi's family embarked on a long and arduous migration. Their journey took them across vast distances, through Persia and the Levant, seeking refuge from the storm. They eventually settled in Konya, a vibrant city in Anatolia, part of the flourishing Seljuk Empire. Konya was a melting pot of cultures, a center of art, philosophy, and religious thought. This environment provided fertile ground for Rumi's intellectual and spiritual development. He was exposed to diverse ideas and traditions within the broader Islamic world. His educational background was deeply rooted in classical Islamic scholarship. He studied under his father and other esteemed teachers, mastering the traditional sciences. He was introduced early to the foundational texts of Islam, the Holy Quran and the Hadith, the sayings and actions of the Prophet Muhammad. He also delved into Arabic and Persian literature, mastering the tools of expression. Rumi excelled in these studies, becoming a respected scholar and teacher in his own right. He followed in his father's footsteps, inheriting his position and reputation in Konya's intellectual circles. His early life was one of academic rigor and religious observance. He was a man of structure, learning, and adherence to established norms, preparing him for a conventional path of religious leadership. Yet, within this framework of tradition and knowledge, a deeper spiritual yearning was stirring. The seeds of mysticism planted by his father were waiting for the right conditions to blossom fully. The stage was set for a transformation, a seismic shift that would redefine his life and, through him, touch the lives of millions across centuries. This transformation would come through an unexpected encounter. The year was 1244 when Rumi's world, built on logic, law, and scholarly pursuits, was irrevocably altered. He met a wandering dervish, a man of intense spiritual fire, named Shams of Tabriz. Shams was an enigmatic figure, unconventional and fiercely independent. He embodied a direct, unmediated connection to the divine, challenging the structured piety Rumi had known. Their meeting was not merely an introduction, it was a spiritual collision. Shams saw beyond Rumi's scholarly facade to the burning mystic within, and Rumi recognized in Shams a living embodiment of the divine love he sought. Their bond was immediate, profound, and intensely spiritual. They spent months in deep conversation, spiritual communion, and ecstatic states, often withdrawing from the world around them. Shams shattered Rumi's established world of logic, jurisprudence, and conventional religious practice. He introduced Rumi to the intoxicating, overwhelming reality of divine love and direct spiritual experience. This intense relationship was transformative for Rumi, unlocking the floodgates of his inner spiritual potential. He moved from being a respected scholar to a passionate seeker consumed by divine love. However, their bond was also deeply controversial. Rumi's disciples and the people of Konya grew jealous and resentful of Shams' influence and the time Rumi spent with him. Shams' unconventional ways and his disruption of Rumi's routine caused friction. The spiritual intensity between the two men was misunderstood and resented by those who felt sidelined. Tragically, Shams disappeared in 1248. The circumstances remain mysterious, but it is widely believed he was murdered by Rumi's own disciples, driven by jealousy and fear. Rumi was left utterly heartbroken by the loss of his spiritual companion. The pain of separation was immense, a wound that would never fully heal. Yet, it was from this profound grief and longing that Rumi's most exquisite poetry erupted. The absence of Shams became the presence of the beloved, the divine, channeled through verse. His poetry became a way to express the inexpressible, the pain of separation, and the burning desire for reunion with the source of all love. Shams became the mirror reflecting the divine beloved. The encounter with Shams was the crucible that forged Rumi the poet, the mystic whose words would echo through eternity. It was the moment his structured world dissolved into the boundless ocean of divine love. Following Shams' disappearance and the eruption of his poetic genius, Rumi's spiritual expression took on a new, dynamic form. He began to spin, often spontaneously, while reciting his verses. This movement was not mere dance, it was a form of active meditation, a physical prayer. It was a way to connect with the divine flow, to lose the self in the rhythm of existence. This practice evolved into the central ritual of the Mevlevi Order, the Sufi brotherhood founded by Rumi's followers after his death. This ritual is known as the Sema. The Whirling Sema is a deeply symbolic spiritual journey. The Dervishes, with their white skirts representing shrouds and black cloaks representing tombs, shed the ego as they shed their cloaks. Their right hand is raised to receive divine grace, while their left hand is lowered to the earth, channeling that grace to the world. Their turning mimics the turning of planets around the sun. It symbolizes the orbit of souls around the divine, the ultimate center of existence. It is a journey towards spiritual perfection, a mystical ascent through love. Rumi's teachings, embodied in the Sema and his poetry, presented an Islam that was tender, inclusive, and focused on inner transformation. It was not loud or demanding of outward conformity. He taught that true transformation comes from grace, from the gentle pull of divine love, not from external force or rigid adherence to rules without inner understanding. His path emphasized the purification of the heart, the cultivation of love, and the direct experience of the divine presence within oneself and the world. The Mevlevi Order, through the Sema, became a living embodiment of Rumi's mystical path. It offered a way for seekers to experience the divine through movement, music, and devotion. This form of Sufi mysticism, rooted in Rumi's experience and teachings, offered a profound counterpoint to more legalistic or rigid interpretations of faith. It reminded believers that the heart is the true mosque, and the journey inward is as vital as the journey outward. The whirling dervishes became a symbol of this inner quest. Their practice, born from Rumi's grief and ecstasy, continues to inspire awe and offer a path to spiritual connection for people across the globe, regardless of their background. From the depths of Rumi's heartbreak over Shams and his burning divine longing, a monumental work emerged, the Masnavi. This vast collection is his magnum opus, dictated over many years. It comprises 6 volumes of exquisite Persian poetry, totaling around 25,000 verses. It is a spiritual encyclopedia, a guide for seekers on the path to divine union. The Masnavi is not a systematic theological treatise. Instead, it blends profound theology with captivating fables, everyday anecdotes, and deep metaphysics. Rumi teaches through stories, riddles, parables, and passionate love letters addressed to God, the ultimate beloved. He uses the mundane to illuminate the sacred. He draws on sources ranging from the Quran and Hadith to Persian folklore and Greek philosophy, weaving a rich tapestry of wisdom accessible on multiple levels. The Masnavi's significance within the Islamic world is immense. It is often referred to as the Quran in Persian, not as a replacement, but as a profound spiritual commentary and guide. It served to soften hardened hearts, to remind Muslims of the mercy, compassion, and love that lie at the very core of their faith, often obscured by legalism or dogma. It offered a path to understanding the deeper, mystical dimensions of Islamic teachings, making complex spiritual truths accessible through relatable stories and evocative language. The Masnavi became a cornerstone of spiritual education and inspiration across the Muslim world, read and cherished by scholars and common people alike. Its verses provided solace, guidance, and a framework for understanding the human condition in relation to the divine. It spoke directly to the soul's journey. Through the Masnavi, Rumi poured out his spiritual experience, his insights into human nature, and his boundless love for the Creator and creation. It remains a living text, studied and recited today, continuing to guide seekers and remind believers of the heart-centered essence of their faith. Rumi's impact on Islam is profound and multifaceted. His poetry and teachings served as a powerful force for unity and understanding within a diverse faith. His work bridged divides that often separated Muslims. It resonated with both Sunni and Shia, finding admirers and followers across sectarian lines. He successfully bridged the gap between orthodox, scholarly interpretations of Islam and the more experiential, mystical paths of Sufism. He showed that love and law were not mutually exclusive. His Persian heritage and language allowed his message to bridge Arab and Persian cultures, fostering a shared spiritual and literary tradition. Crucially, his accessible language and use of stories bridged the gap between the scholar and the layman. His wisdom was not confined to the elite but spoke to the hearts of ordinary people. Rumi humanized faith by placing love above legalism. He emphasized that the intention and state of the heart were paramount, sometimes even more so than the outward act. He prioritized the inner transformation brought about by divine love over strict adherence to external rules for their own sake. Love was the engine of true faith. He valued a shepherd's sincere tears of devotion as much as a scholar's decree based on intricate legal reasoning. Sincerity and love were the true measures of piety. His legacy was one of inclusivity and compassion. He famously welcomed all seekers, regardless of their background or past, to the path of love. This message of universal love and acceptance became a powerful counter-narrative to exclusivist or rigid interpretations of Islam. Rumi reminded the Muslim world of the expansive, merciful nature of God and the potential for profound spiritual connection available to everyone. His influence is seen not only in the Mevlevi Order but also in the broader spiritual landscape of Islam, where his poetry continues to inspire devotion and mystical inquiry. Centuries after his passing, Rumi's relevance has only grown, extending far beyond the Islamic world. His tomb in Konya, Turkey, is not just a historical site but a global pilgrimage destination. People from all faiths and backgrounds travel to Konya to pay homage to the Master of Love, seeking inspiration and peace in the place where he lived and taught. In a world often fractured by division, conflict, and misunderstanding, Rumi's whisper of unity and love still echoes with urgent clarity. His message transcends cultural and religious boundaries. His core message of unity, the interconnectedness of all things, and the transformative power of love continues to offer solace, guidance, and inspiration to millions worldwide. He reminds us to embrace change, to see the constant flux of life not as something to resist but as the very nature of existence, a dance of creation and dissolution. He encourages us to seek inner transformation, to turn inward and cultivate the garden of the heart, where the seeds of divine love are sown. His poetry promotes recognizing the divine within ourselves and within others. He saw the face of the beloved in every human being, regardless of their outward form or belief. Rumi didn't just change Islam, he reminded it of its most fundamental, core values. He brought the focus back to mercy, boundless love, and the essential unity of all existence. His words continue to echo in poetry, music, and spiritual teachings across the globe. They invite all who hear them to embark on the journey of the heart. They call us to remember our shared humanity and our common source. They challenge us to live lives guided by compassion, understanding, and unconditional love. Rumi's legacy is a testament to the power of poetry and mysticism to transcend time and space, speaking directly to the timeless needs of the human soul. He remains a beacon of light, guiding seekers towards the ocean of divine love that he so eloquently described. His message is as vital today as it was 800 years ago. So, let us heed the timeless invitation of Rumi, come, come, whoever you are. It is an invitation to step onto the path of the heart, regardless of your past or present state. It is an invitation to experience the transformative power of divine love, the force that animated Rumi's life and flows through his every verse. He encourages us not to resist the changes that life brings, the inevitable cycles of loss and renewal. Instead, he urges us to let life live through us, to become channels for the divine flow. Let his message of love, unity, and inner transformation live on in our own lives. Let us carry the flame of compassion that he ignited. If Rumi's journey and message have touched your heart, consider exploring his work further. Dive into the Masnavi, read his Divan, and contemplate the path of the heart. Share this message with others who might find solace and inspiration in his words. Let the echo of his wisdom spread. Subscribe, like, comment, and share to help keep the flame of unity and compassion alive. Let Rumi's timeless message continue to illuminate our world.